The ongoing conflict between Ukraine and Russia has been a topic of concern for the international community for several years now. Despite attempts at diplomatic solutions, tensions between the two nations remain high, with Russia being accused of providing military support to separatists in Ukraine. In recent months, the US and other Western nations have been considering sending weapons to Ukraine, a move that has been met with resistance from Russian President Vladimir Putin. In this video, we will explore why President Putin is scared of the US and other Western nations from sending weapons to Ukraine. The fear of escalation of conflict. One of the primary reasons why President Putin is scared of the US and other Western nations sending weapons to Ukraine is the fear that it will escalate the conflict. If Ukraine is able to acquire advanced weapons, it would be better equipped to fight against Russian-backed separatists, potentially leading to a more intense and prolonged conflict. This could also increase the likelihood of direct military intervention by Western nations, which could result in a full-scale war with Russia. Concerns about NATO expansion. Another reason why President Putin is scared of the US and other Western nations sending weapons to Ukraine is the fear that it could lead to further NATO expansion. NATO has been expanding eastward since the end of the Cold War, with several former Soviet bloc countries joining the alliance. If Ukraine were to receive military support from NATO members, it could further increase the alliance's presence in the region, something that Russia views as a threat to its national security. The impact on Russia's domestic politics. Sending weapons to Ukraine could also have an impact on Russia's domestic politics. President Putin has cultivated an image of strength and power, and any perception of weakness or defeat could be damaging to his leadership. The Russian government has already been struggling with a stagnant economy and declining approval ratings, and a military defeat in Ukraine could further damage the government's legitimacy. Fear of losing influence in the region. Russia sees Ukraine as an important buffer zone between itself and Western Europe. It has historically had significant influence in Ukraine and sees the country as part of its sphere of influence. If Ukraine were to receive military support from the US and other Western nations, it could lead to a loss of influence for Russia in the region. This could have broader implications for Russia's foreign policy, as it would weaken its ability to project power and influence in the region. The impact on Russia's military capabilities. Sending weapons to Ukraine could also have an impact on Russia's military capabilities. If Ukraine were to receive advanced weapons, it could potentially use them to target Russian military assets in the region, making it more difficult for Russia to maintain its military presence in Ukraine. This could limit Russia's ability to project power in the region and potentially weaken its military posture. In conclusion, President Putin is scared of the US and other Western nations sending weapons to Ukraine for several reasons. He fears that it could escalate the conflict, lead to further NATO expansion, damage his image of strength and power, weaken Russia's influence in the region, and limit its military capabilities. The ongoing conflict in Ukraine is a complex issue that requires a diplomatic solution, and any military escalation could have significant implications for the international community. It is important for all parties to continue working towards a peaceful resolution of the conflict and to avoid any actions that could further escalate tensions in the region.